Hello and welcome to the Blockade Runner episode 15. This is John, and with me tonight is Ryan.
Hello.
And Dan.
Hi.
And we are excited to record just minutes after Michael Phelps won something like his 25th gold medal. What was it? I don't know. 22nd gold medal, which we all sat through. Seriously, congratulations to him and stuff. But we just wanted to see that Rogue One trailer, and they finally showed it a few minutes ago on TV. And it's also on YouTube. So we've seen it like a couple times. I've seen it maybe like 2.5 times. Dan was watching it while driving a car, which I don't recommend on the way over here. So he's seen it a few more times than that. Ryan, did you get to watch it at least like 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, I watched it 3 times.
All right, nice. So I'm really excited. My goal tonight was just to like get a reaction recorded as soon as possible after it aired. So obviously this won't be super structured because we just saw this thing, but I don't know, I have a lot to say, and I think you guys probably do too.
The world is coming undone. Imperial flags reign across the galaxy.
Can you be trusted without your shackles?
Let's just get this over with, shall we?
We've a mission for you. A major weapons test is imminent. We need to know how to destroy it.
If you're really doing this, I want to help.
Good.
Good. I've been recruiting for the rebellion for a long time.
We destroyed our home. I fight the Empire now.
I fear nothing. All is as the Force wills it.
The captain says you are a friend. I will not kill you.
Thanks. There isn't much time. Every day they grow stronger.
There is a 97.6% chance of failure.
He means well.
This is our chance to make a real difference. Are you with me?
All the way.
So let's just start with like overall impressions of the trailer. What did you all think?
I thought it was good. I thought one of the things that struck me was that you got the more classical music this time, but with a different twist, and it feels like it fits really well with the theme they're going for. Some of the initial shots that I thought were really cool that came to mind were seeing a Star Destroyer like in atmosphere. I don't think we've really seen that before. Maybe the precursors to that in the Clone Wars, some. But not like in a feature film. And when the Death Star is eclipsing that sun on whatever planet, I thought that was super cool looking.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, what did you think?
I thought the just the whole visual style, the coherence of the kind of classic Star Wars aesthetic was like all there. I mean, in the same way, like, Episode 7, like, looks like a Star Wars film. Like, this looks like a Star Wars film, which I think was a concern for us. I guess the shots that really stuck out to me, kind of stealing Dan's idea here. I loved the... there's one shot where it was like a tiny ship flying through, like, I don't know, some like sand, dust, sparkle storm. I have no idea what that was, but it looked really cool, just the scope and scale of it. And then the shot where, is it Jin or Jen?
Jin.
When Jin Erso was like kind of stumbling on that like platform and like the TIE fighter like rose up like right in front of her face.
Yeah.
Was just like just an incredible looking shot.
That made me wonder if we're gonna get a harkening back to Jedi when, you know, the walker comes up to the bunker and then Chewie pops out the top.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I hadn't considered that at all. So it could be a member of the rebellion flying that TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
What about you,
John? Well, you know, the big thing for me is I was really excited, like about maybe halfway to 2/3 of the way through the trailer, I started thinking like, whoa, this is feeling way more Star Wars than the previous trailers did. So that was really cool. Like I don't know if they just didn't show enough in the previous trailer. I don't know, but this felt much more Star Wars. It felt a little like I definitely felt more humor in it. I mean, the humor was still very subtle and like it wasn't a ton of humor, but I felt more humor there for sure. And I don't know, just the imagery and all of it. It felt more like it felt more like an adventure kind of fantasy film, whereas the other ones were maybe gritty to the point where it's like, does it totally feel like Star Wars? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, and when you talk about humor, are you talking about the sassy murder droid?
Yes, K2SO said, I think the line is something like, Cassian says you're a friend, so I won't murder you, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. That was good. And maybe that was the only bit of like humor, but even the shot of Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor, which is Diego Luna's character, I think they're in the cockpit of the new ship, the U-Wing, which was kind of officially discussed for the first time on the Star Wars show recently. I think that's the ship they were in. But anyway, like I don't know, there was just like a warmth and a little bit of a little more lightness in their interaction with one another there than I think we saw in previous footage.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good, for sure. And then the other thing too, for me, like big takeaway from the trailer is that I think, I mean, I'm neutral on this, I guess I'd say, but I feel like the CG was pretty noticeable. Like, not necessarily in a bad way, but just like with The Force Awakens being so, the rhetoric around it being so like, oh man, real effects, practical, everything. Like, I felt like this really looked like a modern movie with plenty of digital effects. Like that shot of, I don't know how you describe it. I don't know if the Death Star is like close to the atmosphere of, I'm assuming the planet Jedha there, but like there's like a shot from, I guess you'd say like above the Death Star and you can see the planet below it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just looked very CG to me. It didn't look bad, but it was just like, I don't know, it just did not really look like anything, say, from The Force Awakens. So, but I almost think that's good just because, like I was saying, like it looked so gritty in the first trailer that, you know, a little more of that like fantasy element, which the CG, I think, kind of brings out, makes it feel a little more Star Wars, you know? And also, you know, one more thing to add to that is just that The Force Awakens, I mean, there's plenty of CG in it, but it really felt like it was pretty retro in terms of the way like modern films look. It was going for that. And the visual look of the movie didn't have much in common with the prequels. And like this trailer, I felt like it looked almost somewhere in between The Force Awakens and the prequels, like in terms of like the visual effects and things like that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, seems fair. So something in the trailer that that no one mentioned as one of their favorite shots, but I feel like was maybe intended to be everyone's favorite shot.
What, the last shot?
Darth
the
Vader.
last shot.
Yeah, we can jump to that. I actually missed it the first time when I was watching it on TV. I didn't even notice it, or like I don't know what happened.
It's literally
but
about a half a second.
Yeah,
so.
it's really
Right.
short, but
I kind of feel like that, along with the tone that you mentioned, John, it just felt a lot more like Star Wars. Was probably pretty intentional to get most people's first look at this movie and get them thinking like, oh, I want to go see this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. No, that shot is great. Really cool. I love the I love I don't know how you describe those like displays.
Yeah, if they're like navigational charts or whatever they are that we're all pretty familiar with from the previous movies.
Yeah, and from The Force Awakens, and even from the first Rogue One trailer, there's shots in the Rebel base of them looking at it, displays like that, except for I think they're green, right?
Yep.
So it's cool to see him like standing in front of this like red display like that. But yeah, obviously very short, but they definitely made sure that breathing was in there, so you knew it was up, and it gave me a little bit of a thrill, I have to say, just to see Darth Vader again. I mean, I don't know, it's definitely a tease. Like that shot is definitely a tease, but I think it was good to have it in there. I feel like I would have been disappointed. I think most people would have been disappointed, just since like almost a month ago, or maybe more than a month ago, they revealed through Entertainment Weekly that yes, Darth Vader is in the movie. It's like, well, if you're gonna tell us he's in it, you might as well show him in the trailer,
Right.
So. But I'm glad they didn't give too much away at the same time. Like I didn't need to see him like fighting somebody with a lightsaber in the trailer necessarily, but it's good to see like a little bit of him there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it, like, obviously that was kind of supposed to be the money shot of the trailer. And I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe just because we've gotten so much Darth Vader in the, like, recent months. Like, the comic series, which I love, I mean, is a whole lot of Darth Vader. And then just like, I mean, he's on screen in Rebels,
right?
Like a lot in that last season. So, I mean, I wonder, I don't know if it was like, because I remember like leading up to Force Awakens, like we had this conversation, like all I wanted to see in the trailers was Luke. Like I wanted to see Luke again. And like, I was so excited.
Well, we saw Luke as much in The Force Awakens as we saw Vader in this trailer, so...
Yeah, and, like, I understand why. Like, but, I mean, if, like, obviously after seeing Force Awakens, like, we know why you wouldn't want to put, like, 45 seconds of Luke Skywalker in the trailer, because that's, how long he's in the movie. But, like, I just wanted that so bad, and then with this, like, I kind of like wasn't even like thinking about it, like, oh, are we going to see Vader on the big screen again? And then it was there and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, oh, of course they did that. Like, I don't know, it didn't like hit me as much as maybe it was supposed to, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's just kind of like a foregone conclusion and it's not a big deal since it was already like revealed and stuff. I wonder how it would have been different if like they would have held off on like the like print reveal,
right,
and just showed him here for the first time. I don't know.
Yeah, the print reveal was interesting. I'm not exactly sure why they did that, because I do think that this would have been way more of a like, oh my god.
Yeah, it would have been way more impactful.
Right. I think we all expected. I mean, I pretty much knew even before that EW article ran that he would be in it, or that he was in it. Just there's too much chatter about it, for it not to be true, I think. But yeah, no, I definitely think I would have been a little more pumped, just like, because it would be confirmation. But now it's not confirmation, it's just a shot of Darth Vader.
Right.
That being said, I almost want them to protect that, although I would assume there's one more big trailer for this movie at least coming, and you'll probably see more Darth Vader in it, I'm guessing. But I almost want them to protect that, so that, like, in the same way, like, it was a really emotional experience seeing Luke in the theater when we went to see Force Awakens. I don't know, I feel like if they're successful in recreating Darth Vader, or like creating an authentic Darth Vader in this movie, then there's going to be like a real presence and emotional impact on seeing him again. So it's almost like you don't want too much in the trailer, because then that takes away from that,
Yeah,
that's true.
I guess thinking about it though, like we saw Darth Vader like as Darth Vader in Revenge of the Sith, and it was kind of an awkward like return, whereas like we hadn't seen Luke Skywalker in like so long, and I mean there was like no Luke Skywalker and like no Han Solo in anything for like a really long time outside of like the novels. Really.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, like I super love Revenge of the Sith, but I would not say that is a successful, not a super successful version of Darth Vader. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't.
I think that only answered the question of like his turning, but we didn't really see the like, I want to see Darth Vader beating people up. That like that type of a thing. It does not fulfill. You know?
Yeah. Well, and he just like, I mean, the costume looks cool, but it just. I don't necessarily want to see like a super violent Vader or anything. Like, I know a lot of people are hoping for like Vader just come in and start like cutting people in half and chopping heads off and stuff in Rogue One, and that to me, like, I've probably already talked about this on Blockade Runner, so I apologize if I'm being like repetitive, but I have this like fold up chair in my garage that I take to like soccer games and stuff, which has a picture of Darth Vader on it, and the background is like all lava, and then it says the name Darth Vader at the top, but it's in this like Harley Davidson tribal tattoo like font, you know, and it's like,
I totally know the logo you're talking about.
And
it was like on t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, and it's so like Darth Vader is so hardcore. Like, that's like the total like that's not the Darth Vader I want in Rogue One necessarily, and that's not why it didn't work for me in Revenge of the Sith. I mean, it didn't work for me in Revenge of the Sith because I don't know, it just didn't. I didn't feel that presence of Darth Vader. I didn't feel that fear. Not that I'm super afraid of Darth Vader in the original trilogy, but he didn't. I don't know. It just did not feel like Darth Vader. It didn't have the weight and the impact of Darth Vader, you know? I mean, It was almost a cameo in that movie too, and I don't know. It just, I feel like if this Darth Vader in Rogue One feels about as much like Darth Vader as the Revenge of the Sith one did, then it doesn't work. It won't work, you know? So I'm definitely hoping for more, and I think I want that experience and that feeling when I watch the movie and not from a trailer, probably.
Yeah, I would be fine with them just like holding out whatever it is, because if they like, I mean, part of me like doesn't even want Vader to have a huge role in Rogue One. Like, we already have like a billion characters that I still can't remember the names of all of them in this movie. Like, like why not give them the time to shine?
Right, they're not going to have 3 other movies that they're appearing in and a TV show and stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with you there. I kind of think that they'll probably minimize his time, and I don't know if they've specifically said like how closely this leads into episode 4, but I almost wonder if it'll just be right at the end, partially leading up to right at the beginning of New Hope when we see him, you know, taking Leia's ship and all that.
Yeah, word on the street is that it ends, and I don't know if this is like, you know, super general or if this really is this specifically true, but word on the street is that it ends about 10 minutes before New Hope starts.
Okay.
And again, that's not like straight from Lucasfilm, so it could be wrong or it could be a little bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, I believe this is gonna end very, very closely to A New Hope. So, yeah.
I wonder if the like Vader's whole scene will just cut to like
on the Blockade Runner.
He's standing on the other side of the door there, just waiting while they're down, and then that's it.
The Emperor being like, "Okay, Vader, you need to go to the ship." And the Emperor's like, "Okay, I got a guy who can go take care of this." And then he's like, "Okay, Vader, gotta go do this now." And then it's just that scene we just saw, and he just like turns around, and then it's credits. Which it could be. I don't know.
No, I think he's going to be in a big action sequence, and I think he's definitely going to do some enforcing, but I guess we'll see. You know, that's just my feeling. I don't know, but
yeah,
we'll see. You know, Ryan, you brought up Darth Vader with kind of the idea that was supposed to be like the money shot or whatever, but and obviously it was. I mean, it definitely was. But I think maybe, I don't know, I haven't seen this trailer enough times, but I think maybe the scene that's most exciting to me is Donnie Yen's character. Is that Chirrut Imwe? Chirrut? him walking like into the face of, well, like walking straight into danger and straight into like a group of stormtroopers, and I
seemingly taking them all down.
Yeah, and he says something like, it's, the will of the Force is the only thing that matters, or something like that, right? It's just like
he
very.
Says something about basically it doesn't matter what you're doing because the Force has already decided.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
And pretty much like, I'm not afraid of death, and I'm not afraid of you, and I will just do what is right. And that was like, for me, that gave me, I don't know, like basically goosebumps, right? Like, because I think I'm most excited about his character. I don't know. I really love the Jedi, and I love the Force, and I want, even though this is a little bit more of a down to earth or realistic kind of Star Wars movie, it seems, I really want that element of the mystical and the spiritual and the Force and all that in there. And so, like, no Jedi in Rogue One, but pretty into the way Donnie Yen's character is being presented so far.
Yeah, exactly. Like we talked about before, with the Church of the Force and all those type of things. It's neat to see a new implementation of the thing that we already know.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
His buddy seems pretty cool too. Baz, I believe is his name, or something like that. Got that
Baz
giant.
Luhrmann.
Baz Luhrmann of director of Moulin Rouge. He's got that big blaster, whatever, and he's in the canyon. And he's like, they destroyed our planet. I fight the Empire.
Yeah, exactly.
He dead.
He's just ready. He's there.
Yeah. So I was into that as well. I don't know. Any other big shots that stand out to you guys, or revelations from the trailer?
Yeah, they talk about, can we take your shackles off you, when they're talking to Jyn at the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we knew something about that, didn't we, along the lines of she's been in trouble or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think she's going to die in this movie? I mean, I don't know where else she has a place in the universe.
Well, she ain't in episode 4.
Yeah, exactly. Not to say that they couldn't do something else.
No. Yeah.
Well, I have my iPad out, and I'm just kind of like using my finger to scroll through like individual shots in the trailer and stuff to like scrub through the trailer. Mm-hmm. And I just landed on this shot of Bodhi Rook, and he's got this like very concerned look on his face. And I don't remember the dialogue because I just saw this trailer for the first time like half an hour ago. But somebody says to him basically like, I don't know, our chances are slim, or something like that.
Oh, the robot says like there's a 97%
that's what it is.
chance of failure.
Oh, that was another. I guess K2SO is going to be maybe a source of humor in the movie, because that was the other thing where I was like, oh well, that's kind of funny, and
he means well.
Yeah, and just that's like so C-3PO, right?
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
But yeah, he looks super concerned after that, and then at a similar point in the like close to that shot in the trailer, Jyn Erso asks the crew, it seems like anyway, the way it's put together, are you with me? And I believe it's Cassian, Diego Luna's character, who says to the end or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we're all like, many of us are going into this feeling like, it's going to be kind of bleak, and probably a lot of these characters won't live just because we don't really know them.
Yeah, I got the feeling more from this trailer too that it seems like she's the one maybe that's in charge of getting all these people together too. Some of them seem like they've already been part of the Alliance or Rebellion, but I don't know. I just got that feeling.
Yeah, that could be the case. I'm curious how much of the movie is going to be about getting the crew together, and then how much of it will be about carrying out the mission.
Where are all the damn Bothans?
No. That would be in a Return of the Jedi prequel.
Oh yeah,
the second Death Star plans prequel. But like, is it going to be the first half is like assembling the crew, and the second half is going out and carrying out the mission, or like even the first 2/3 is about putting the crew together, and it's just like the final act that's about carrying out that mission? I'm not sure, but yeah, I think for sure she's kind of the leader, is what it seems like, and then Diego Luna's character Cassian is kind of her wingman, so to speak.
Would you say that she's kind of the Harley Quinn of the Suicide Squad?
I wouldn't know, really. I would probably decline to comment on that. I've not seen the Suicide Squad.
Neither have I.
Yeah. And my knowledge of Harley Quinn is just what I remember from the Batman animated TV show,
which is awesome.
It is great. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's almost inevitable that this is going to be like many of the characters, if not all of them, are going to meet a tragic fate. Like this is going to be a movie about sacrifice and for like a greater good. And I think the key and what all of this movie hinges on is making the viewer like deeply care about all these characters before the sacrifice. And like, you know, I mentioned earlier that like I'm like knee deep in this stuff like constantly, and you know, I'm reading the EW stories and everything. I cannot for the life of me remember what these characters' names are. And I think that's going to be the challenge of this movie, is like making, because this is a huge cast of new characters. It's not just like, oh, here's Finn, Rey, and Poe. Like, yeah. This is like really big, and they're like, they all kind of have like interesting names, and you know, they're not super distinct, and I don't know. I think that's going to be the challenge here.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. Like after watching this trailer, do you feel that like concern, or do you feel like that challenge is, I don't know, do you feel strongly about that after this trailer as you did before, or like, you know, because I felt like watching the panel from Celebration when they all came out, you know, kind of like helped individualize them for me a little bit, these characters. And then I felt like this trailer a little bit too. Like, I don't know, I especially Baze, I guess. And maybe
Forrest Whitaker.
No, it's the Chinese actor who is you know, the friend to Chirrut.
Yep.
They all kind of stood out a little more to me, and just I don't know. Not that I don't agree with you, Ryan, because I do think like an ensemble movie like this, like it lives or dies on how much we care about these individual characters and stuff. But I don't know. I feel like they're kind of different enough. I mean, like Bodhi Rook, maybe at this point, I'm not sure. You know, like what to think about him, or how much like character is there. And honestly, you know, probably a lot of like Clone Wars and Star Wars fans like will be frustrated by this, but like also Saw Gerrera, you know, like I'm sure that's going to be a really cool character, but I don't know if I've seen anything in the trailer that really makes me feel connected. But even like Baz's lines in the trailer, in this one, the trailer tonight, made me just feel like he was kind of likable, and you know, gave me a little bit of an affinity for him, you know, where Saw Gerrera, I guess, just seems like so serious and so sci-fi that I don't necessarily have that affinity yet. But I don't know. I'm feeling like these characters seem pretty memorable and likable so far. But
yeah, I think we're getting there. But I mean, I still feel like there's, I mean, like especially for like a casual viewer, I feel like there's still like a ways to go. And I mean, maybe like another trailer, or just like, I mean, or just doing a really good job in like the opening moments of the movie, because you can't spend like the first like, you know, half hour like explaining who each of these characters are,
right?
Which is something that Suicide Squad did, and it was like not good.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen that yet, but they all seem to be like kind of in groups, though. You know, like I have the feeling we'll be introduced to Jin and Cassian and K2SO together, right. And then I think we'll be introduced to like Baz and Chirrut together, and I don't know about Bodhi Rook or, you know, other characters, but like it almost feels like in the beginning of the movie those two like sets of characters will be separate, and then they'll come together. and then I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll all be like individually off doing their own thing when the movie begins. I think there'll be kind of like a couple different groups that will come together. So hopefully that helps with that as well. But
I guess that's kind of the way they did it in A New Hope. You've got Han and Chewie doing their thing. You've got Leia kind of on her own. And then Luke and Obi-Wan, and they all go together there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, sounds like I think you've got to go. We're keeping you up here, and you have work in the morning. So any final thoughts you want to share before you duck out?
No, I mean, I'm really, really stoked for this movie. I think it's cool that it's happening. I'm still kind of, my expectations and hype level obviously aren't where it was for Force Awakens, and that's fine, because I mean, this is just the new reality. Like, we're getting Star Wars movies that are, we may know what happens at the end of them, but it's still just cool to see more Star Wars, and it looks and feels like Star Wars, and I'm excited to kind of get to know these characters for this 2 hours. So, but
all right, a couple other sort of favorite shots I had. The shot of, I think it's X-Wings flying through the dark canyon.
Yeah, it did look like X-Wings
at night. That was really cool, and I'm looking forward to that scene. It does seem like most of this movie will be kind of in atmosphere, and we got a taste of that in the Battle of Takodana in The Force Awakens, and it was really cool. But it was also really fantastic in the way it was presented. Even down to the fact that Poe Dameron's X-Wing cruises around and takes out 8 TIE fighters in one fell swoop. I have a feeling this will be a little more realistic in the presentation. Realistic is an odd word to use to describe Star Wars, but I think you know what I mean. And then see other things. There's a. Go ahead.
The rocket.
The rocket. Yeah, the rocket being shot at the AT-ACT, I believe it is. Was really cool. Just I think that's an example of what I guess Kevin and I probably talked about last time we recorded, which is that feeling of being on the ground in a battle that I think Gareth Edwards is going for. It's a good example of that.
And you're seeing less traditional Star Wars type weapons there.
Yeah.
It's not like a laser shooting at it.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah. And then the other one of the things that got me pretty excited when I was watching the trailer the first time was when you see them going into hyperspace, Cassian pulls a lever or whatever, and you can see the stars trailing into hyperspace through the cockpit glass. I love that. That was one of those things where I feel like it was much needed. And there were a few different images in this trailer that were like that for me, where it was okay, yep, this is Star Wars for sure. So that was really cool too. So, all right. Any final thoughts, Dan, or you wanna...
I'm excited. I don't know that timeline makes sense for us getting another whole trailer before the movie comes out, but maybe more like TV spots, something like that. Because really, we're only 4 months out.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling we will get at least one more trailer, but I guess it's tough to say. All the rumors, I think it's all but fact, but I don't believe it's been substantiated by Lucasfilm yet. But September 30th is going to be the Force Friday type day here in America, or probably worldwide, where Rogue One toys and products and stuff are going to launch. So I wouldn't expect a trailer before that, or then. A lot of people were hoping for a trailer for The Force Awakens on Force Friday last year, I remember, and it definitely did not happen,
Nope.
Which is cool. But I don't know. I don't know that this trailer is enough to communicate what they want to communicate to the general movie-going audience.
Right.
Maybe, but I think I'd expect one more like, I guess I'm just going to guess like October. Because I believe that's when the final Force Awakens trailer came out. Wasn't it October? Like when we went and bought tickets for the movie? And
yeah, I believe you're correct.
I think it was October. So somewhere around there, I would guess. That's like still another 2 months from now. And then 2 months until the movie comes out. So be kind of right in the middle of the period of time we have left until the movie comes out. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other stuff. There's gonna be, toys and I'm hoping for a new poster because I really don't like the poster that's out now. I'm hoping that's like the teaser poster and we'll get a better one, but I don't know. But yeah, and then obviously like with the release of the movie, there's going to be plenty of stuff too, books and things like that. Probably not too much in the way of books before the movie comes out, if anything. But anyway, I'm guessing for...
Yeah, I would expect maybe they'll put something out and expand upon some of these characters, but probably not until after the movie's out.
Yeah. And Star Wars Battlefront, I know, is getting a Scarab, I believe.
There,
yeah, expansion. So there's going to be stuff, I don't know if we're quite to the point where it's like kicking into high gear with the marketing with this trailer. I would guess like it won't be until end of September, early October when they really start to kind of focus on the messaging for this and really try to push it. But yeah, it is cool to think that it's going to be here soon. I'm also really excited for the movie, and I think this trailer, at least as of now, has me a little more excited. It feels more Star Wars to me, like I said, at the start of the recording. So that's a good thing. I've always been excited about it. I've always been looking forward to it, but
it's a little more real now.
Yeah, it's a little more real. It feels a little more like real Star Wars, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, all signs are pointing to me to the movie looking like it's going to be really good. I know that the rumor mill is still kind of running pretty hard, pretty strong in terms of like there being some discomfort behind the scenes at Lucasfilm and Disney. And, there was the story, I guess, last week or the week before about, is it Tony? Now I forget the director's name, but the guy that they brought in to help work on the movie. Right. There was word that, maybe he's kind of taken over the lead on editing and finishing up the movie. I don't know if I believe that or not, but I don't know.
I don't think it matters in the end who ends up doing all this stuff. It's kind of a brave new world with doing a Star Wars spin-off movie, and they're probably going to have to feel their way through it with this one and the next couple subsequent ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty confident that it's going to turn out well, and everything's looking really good. So I'm kind of taking the opposite approach to this one that I did to The Force Awakens, at least early on. Because early on with The Force Awakens, it was like, well, you have to prove to me that it's going to be great, because otherwise I'm skeptical. And with this one, I'm more at this point, anyways, I'm more just like, well, until I see something that really, concerns me, I have faith.
Absolutely.
And it's looking great. And this trailer, I think, is, I'm more excited than I was before. So, yeah. All right. We'll wrap it up there for tonight. If you want to contact us, email us at blockaderunnerpodcast@gmail.com. Visit our blog, which is blockaderunnerpodcast.com. We are on Twitter at blockaderun. We're on Instagram, and I think it's Blockade.
You really need to write these down.
Runner on Instagram. You know what? I know them all except for Instagram. That's the one where it's like, what is it? I think it's just Blockade Runner, but it's on the blog. So check us out there. Dan, you are on Twitter at The Big Sweat, which is correct. One of the best handles on Twitter. And yeah, we will be back soon with another episode of The Blockade Runner. Thank you. And I'm going to go watch this trailer about 20 more times.